Hello, my name is Lauri Almann and I'm one of the co-founders of CybExer Technologies. My title is Chief Storytelling Officer and my job is to predict scenarios, what may happen. And let me tell you, these last 2 years, it has been one hell of a difficult job. If 2 years ago, I would have submitted a scenario to a client of the stuff that is happening now, they would have rejected it, saying it's overblown, unrealistic, full of cliches, and simply impossible. The hard truth is that it is happening now. There's a really hard, heavy stuff going on in the cyber world. The threats have grown exponentially. Some of the threats have realized that we didn't think would be possible. So I think the first message from our company, it is here, it is happening now. Let me take you through a 30 second to 1 minute simple scenario that we have created, and let's see what we can do about it. A typical scenario would start with a critical information infrastructure provider who now has a new e-service. They need to reach to more customers, so they hire a well-known programming company to provide that service. The well-known programming company goes to another country, maybe not so well-known country, and hires another company, maybe not so well-known company, and finally ends up buying it. What happens here is this company now, not beknownst to this critical information sector company, is in the supply chain. Somebody clicks on a bad link, something gets executed, and bad stuff happens. Bad stuff happens, and this is now on the table of CEO who probably has no training on cybersecurity. There is implication on the stock price and whatnot. The attackers do something really banal, like a defacement or distributed denial of service attack, putting a company under hard pressure. And what we have exhausted workforce that we have not enough, and we have a blackout. This is what we have to deal with. And the question why this is happening is all related to human beings. And the cliche answer to this tends to be because humans are the weakest link. Our job in the company, as we have defined it, is to counter that somewhat truism and to say that actually humans are the most important link, and we need to look at those instances and ask why these things are happening and what can we do to turn this weak link into the strong link and build a human firewall. Let's see, somebody clicks on a link. And this is a matter of cyber hygiene, cyber awareness. And our approach to cyber awareness is really to drill down on the question of why and ask why people are engaged, the behavior that they are engaged. This is not a shooting competition. This is not a 10 commandments moralizing lesson, but it's an exercise in patience. Estonian government has implemented a government-wide cyber awareness program. We are proud to be part of it, and this is one of the challenges. As CEO, having to answer the question, the cliche question is, it is a technical problem, and what we need to deal here is that no, it is not. It is to make everybody understand that behind the table deciding those issues are people who have no cyber background, and maybe they are in roles of taking some of the most important decisions. So it is a non-technical issue, and we need to find a way how to create clarity of mind among those leaders. Now something technical happens. And in technical level, we also counter cliches. And the typical cliche as a technical cybersecurity company providing mostly technical training, cyber ranges, one of the statements that we have countered very often is, it's unique. we are too big, we are too special, we are too confidential. Our industry is extremely different. So let's take this notion and deal with it. And to deal with this problem, we actually created an exercise which is called cooperative resilience. We tested out what happens if we set up a cyber range with a scenario with what I just described and invite various critical information providers exercise together. Can we get from this, it is unique, to cooperative resilience? And we did. Banking, energy, water, beer manufacturing were all exercising on the same range, sharing intelligence, sharing their experiences, and building this resilience. And if you're interested in the breakout session, I'm going to talk about this exercise. We can walk through the virtual machines that we use. We can actually go to the range, and I can show you what we did. But what we also thought was, would it be possible to actually build something permanent of that exercise? Can we build a global cyber range federation that would serve those customers on a more permanent basis? And again, what we countered in this challenge was everybody saying it is unique. So one of the conclusions that we had in the cyber range business was that actually let's try to challenge this. And in order to build a firewall in this technical area, what we really need to do is to break the wall and increase the break of wall non-transparency, and to increase transparency not only among customers, but also among manufacturers. What we are going to produce and publish in www.cybexer.com website is a open cyber range configurator, and yes, together with prices, that everybody can go, everybody can see how special they are, and what solutions for this we can offer, and if that can be standardized. But that was not the only picture. That was not all the pictures that I showed. I had the fourth element in our presentation, and that was the element of blackout. This is probably one of the greatest problems that we are facing now in the human field. This is the cliche answer to this is there are not enough qualified personnel to deal with our cyber threats. We are really living in a time and age when this generation of young people could actually face a global blackout caused by a cyber attack. This is who we call a blackout generation. And to face that challenge, what we have decided is to actually use that very generation to be part of the solution. We have created a project called Cyber Stars, and our goal is to attract in the company around the world young people from 16 to 18, 19, 20 years old to the profession of cybersecurity. Our problem, we are also more than glad to engage people who have experience in cyber and who already have displayed interest. But most interested we are in young people who have not shown any particular interest. 50% of our cyber stars who take part in cyber battle series that we organize in a format that is similar to American Idol or UK Got Talent, in a scenario-based fun way, are young people who have not shown any interest in cyber, who we attract through social media and advertising. And it has proven quite successful, and this is something with which we want to reach out also across the world. And this is another topic that I would like to discuss in our breakout sessions. And this is how we build the human firewall in cybersecurity. We take patience to ask why people click those wrong links. We create clarity of mind in our strategic leaders. We try to deal with the uniqueness of those organizations, and we take the next generation to solve the problem that is ahead of them. This is all. Join me in the breakout session, and we are going to talk about the exercise, cooperative resilience, range configurator, and also cyber battle series.
Well, Lauri, thank you so much for telling us more about what CybExer Technologies does. We've got 2 questions from the audience, but first we will take a look at the results of the previous poll. The question was, how often do you change your passwords? One person said every week. I would love that person to reach out to us at the e-Estonia Briefing Center, and so we can send you a tiny chocolate basket. To the other people, well, it's basically 50-50 between twice a year and only after my Gmail account gets hacked. Does that sound fair to you?
That sounds suspicious every week. I would like to have a discussion in the breakout room, because in our platform, that would qualify as a risky answer because it's too correct. Yeah. So sometimes we also are looking out for people who actually answer too correctly. How many passwords do you have? I have same password for every account, of course. How many USB drives do you use? I never use USB drives. Where do you keep your password? In a locker room. Where do you keep the key to the locker? I keep it chained on my neck. Where is it when you take a shower? I take it with me to the shower. So this is suspicious. So I don't believe that. I'd like to have a discussion.
So I've got 2 questions for you. The first one is not so much tied to everything that you've said, but still interested in you and what you do. Really cool job title. How do I get a job like that?
It's just, you don't have to be a cyber expert. I think, and most important and I think interesting part for me is when I tell the stories, I try to listen. More importantly, I think, and try to build a bridge between technical and non-technical personnel. My first job to tell a cyber story was in 2007 when I was Permanent Secretary of Defense. Estonia was just attacked, and we had to decide if we're going to talk about this. And then we had to create various talking points. And the technical breach that I would like to describe was the moment I entered to the national CERT, it's full of cyber experts, and I ask a question, can you tell me how many computers were belonging to the botnet that attacked Estonia in 2007? And the room full of technicians burst out in laughter, because technically it doesn't make any sense. Because every computer is different. What you're interested, they asked me, is the compute power? I said, no. I'm interested in how many computers. But they said, this is not interesting for me. I said, no. I'm creating talking points for the government to use. And what I want to know is how many people's computers were trespassed to mount this this attack. And so we created a talking point. Estonia in 2007 was attacked by more than 1 million computers in 140 countries, including Vatican. So this is what we do.
Yeah, so I think it's sort of humanizing cybersecurity.
Humanizing. We need to tell the story, and we need to put this thing into human language, but also we need to keep listening to technical side.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The more topical question was, what is the most interesting hacking target that the company has ever had? Can you tell us more about that?
River Danube. Mm-hmm. Exercise 2018, Austrian government, we did it, and it was widely published as well. It was open to various countries and wider public, so we can a little bit talk about it. And what we were asked there to do was to create a scenario whereby a river Danube was hacked. And immediately I thought that, it's a natural phenomenon, it's water. But turns out River Danube is an information system. It's controlled by levees and dams and all that kind of stuff. So you can actually shut down a pretty big chunk of European economy if you hack River Danube. Don't do it, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it also sort of changes the focus on what can be sort of touched by security and cyber attacks. So it's not just a server in a room, but also a more ecosystem approach that can affect whether it's telecommunications lines or electricity or infrastructure channels. So everything from A to Z, really.
Exactly.
Yeah. Lauri, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Florian.
Thank you also to the audience for all the lovely questions. Of course, we're not done.